thank you to our sponsor, real estate tax pro Bob Norton with Norton Accounting Services. Bob's goal is to help his clients become financially free using real estate. And let me tell you from personal experience, he really does. He focuses on real estate investors with clients in 48 states. He's been a resource to myself and many other investors. Welcome to another episode of the Will Frederick podcast, where we talk about real estate, wealth building, money, and life. And today we are going to be addressing a very special, good question that's on everyone's mind right now. Is now the right time to buy a house? So for such a special occasion, I have a very special guest with us today, Emonie Earl. She is a buyer specialist on our team, but she's also a woman of many talents. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's an actress. She's had several roles. And so now she is on our team and we're really excited. She's been helping buyers out and having a great time doing it. So welcome, Emonie. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
Good. We were just talking right before the film started rolling about just how she's able to connect with clients. She was having a God moment with one of our clients, and they're crying and praying, and that's what I really love about having Emonie as part of the team.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a very relational person, God, family, business, and I want our team culture. I want our clients to be able to catch that through not just me, but all the members of our team, and so I appreciate that.
Thanks.
So.
Thanks for really leading in that, and it not just being, something that we say, but like something that we actually do. So
yeah.
Thanks.
So Emonie, is now the right time to buy a house?
Of course. What better time than now? That is like the $1 million question. Everybody wants to know that. We kind of had discussed this a little bit before, but you brought up my acting. When really ever is the right time. Yeah. Seize the moment. Carpe diem. I'm sure you've probably heard of it, but it really is true. Like there's no better time than now. I'm sure you'll probably ask me this later. A lot of people want to know about the rates and are the rates going to change? Are they going to, all the things. But it's not just a realtor saying, but, really marry the house and date the rate. Those are always going to change. But yeah, there's no better time than literally now.
Yeah. And so a lot of people have a lot of different feelings about that. And it's really hard to predict the future. I remember a few years ago, this is before you joined the team, there was this time of like uncertainty. And I really thought like it was not a great time. And I made the mistake of telling people that. I said, listen, I might hold off a little bit. I think, the market might wobble a little bit. We might go down. It's uncertain. And that was in 2020. And if anybody remembers what happened after that, that was like it just took off. Yeah, it just took off after that. And I really felt like a fool because I was like, why did I try to predict? I mean, I knew better. Yeah. Because there's so much uncertainty in the market. So it's hard to really tell people not to buy right now. Yeah. I think you need to tell people, buy when it's the right time for you. Not just, you have to hurry up and buy.
Absolutely.
I mean, rates are what rates are. We can't control it. Some people think they're going to go down. I think they probably will. But to your point, marry the house, date the rate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really important. My husband and I actually also do some investing, which is kind of what actually led me to becoming a real estate agent. And then also along with the flexibility of just being a mom, my husband works shift work and being an actress as well, and having a job that supported that. I was a stay-at-home mom before that. But anywho, I say that to say we also have a property that we own, and from when we bought it to what the price point is in that space now has obviously changed, and when I say change, I mean it's less than what it was, but at the same time it's fluctuating, right? So you can never ultimately really determine if it's going to be on the high end or on the low end, which is why it's important to marry the house and date the rate, because that 1 in a million chance right after COVID when everything went crazy.
Yeah. Rates were low.
I also sold my house that I only lived in for a year, but you just don't know. Like you literally cannot ultimately determine, and it just comes down to when is the right moment for you, and what ultimately is best for you and your family. Obviously, as a buyer's agent and a real estate agent, I want you to buy, right? Because I'm not just in this business because I love people and I want to help people fulfill their desires and their dreams and their aspirations, but I need to make some money too. But no, honestly, it really comes down to, what is your why and what is your ultimate goal aside from the rates and aside from, the hard on paper stuff.
What are some of the hesitations you're hearing from buyers right now? Like some of the people that say, hey, I just don't know. Like, what are some of their holdbacks or their drawbacks from buying at this point in time?
I think in my experience thus far, has been the rates, which we just discussed. I think the other thing is a lot of people count themselves out before they even know what or if they are even qualified to buy, which is why a lot of people rent. I am not just here to sell people houses. Like, I am also a resource. I know you are the same, Will. And like, let's make a plan of action for where we're trying to go so that we can achieve that goal. Maybe it's not today. Maybe it's not next month. Maybe it's 6 months or a year from now, but we can get you there. And a lot of times I think, honestly, that is like the second biggest thing aside from the rate, right? Like, well, I don't think I qualify. And it's like, well, how do you know what you don't know if you don't, make that effort and put the step forward? Closed mouths don't get fed. I know you've probably heard that before. But yeah, it's absolutely true. You don't know what you don't know in terms of qualification if you never try. So
yeah, and that's sometimes our role is to help people put a plan together, because it's a big deal to buy a house. Yeah. It's the biggest asset most people ever have or deal with or buy. And so to spend that kind of money is daunting, and people will just by nature just kind of put it off. Yeah. If they're not like really like burdened to do it, then they're just going to be like, well, it's just easier to stay put. It's easier. So it's our job to kind of help motivate them and help them see, like, what are you missing out on if you stay on the sidelines right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
So plus, what do you miss out on if you stay on the sidelines?
Well, I like to tell people, people that like to be renters, I get it. Like, not everybody wants to be a home buyer, right? And that's okay too. Like, different strokes for different folks. But one of the, aside from asset building in terms of like real estate, one of the other biggest things are like, you are paying somebody else's mortgage. Right. Like, you are paying into somebody else's piggy bank, right? Mm-hmm. And you get no return from that.
Right.
Zero.
Yeah.
If I'm paying $1,600 a month for a really nice apartment or a really nice house, in the end, if I want to move or I want to do something else or whatever the reason may be, you get nothing back from that. And so that's something that I feel like people don't always think about either. If I want to change or make a change or do something different, and I want to sell my house, at least I get something back from what I put into it in terms of equity. Mm-hmm. From the investment side of that, there's so many things that you can do with being a homeowner aside from, getting your money back if you decide to sell. After so long, you will build equity in your piggy bank, which would be your house. Mm-hmm. And that is money that you can then pull out and use for other things in your life, whatever that may be. I know someone that's used it and they used it for their wedding, not saying I would encourage that. But there's different things. You can pull equity out and you can use it for more investments, make your money make money, which is what my husband and I have done. And a lot of investors do. I mean, the opportunities are just endless when it comes to home buying. It's not just as simple as like, oh, I'm, going to buy this house. Yeah. And
not only that, so there have been stats many, many times I've heard over the years, home ownership is actually the number one determiner in wealth building in the United States. Mm-hmm. So that's a factor. So if you want to become more wealthy and begin to build wealth, like Emonie's talking about, buy a house and buy the right house, not just go out and buy a house. And that's where we come in. Emonie has done a fantastic job of helping people find value.
Thank you.
You can also add value to a house. You can buy low. Yeah. Like, we've got houses right now that I have listed that Emonie has shown before that people don't want them because they're not in the greatest shape. The seller sometimes isn't interested in fixing it up or doesn't have the means to fix it up. That can be a deal for a buyer. You get in and regardless of whether or not the house goes up over time, which almost always does, you can add value to it by just fixing it up, making it nicer, fresh paint.
Paint and light fixtures go a long way.
And even staging,
Staging goes a long way.
Like if house is kind of a wreck, it's not going to be really appealing to a buyer.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Not only that, but there's also tax deductible mortgage interest. So that $1,600 rent payment that you were talking about, if you were paying that same amount in mortgage, you're going to get a significant chunk of that. That's actually a write-off on your taxes that, puts money back in your pocket.
Like a good refund.
Yeah, tax refunds. Hey, thank God for those, huh? Yeah. So.
But yeah, no, I think that's really, really good. I've learned a lot in my short time of investing and being an investor, and shout out to Will, because not only is he my boss / team lead, but he's very helpful in that as well, and just mentorship and things like that. But
thank you to our sponsor, Richard Lanassa with Core Lending Group, where they value speed, strength, and service. Richard's been a lender for 30 years, and I've known him for 20 of those years, and he is a fantastic lender. He's very well versed in all the programs. You'll be in very good hands if you trust Richard Lanassa with Core Lending Group. Thank you. I appreciate my team. I love leading y'all, and it's really good relationships. Yeah.
I think that's something that I just am also passionate about and learning more about. I cannot stress enough. I was mind blown when John, who is also Will's partner, he's my husband and I's investment mentor, but the things that they don't teach you in terms of real estate and how you can build wealth for your life, that's literally at all of our fingertips. You just simply don't know what you don't know. And I just am really passionate about encouraging people to go for it.
Yeah.
Same thing with acting, if I just sit on my hands, I would never book anything, and this isn't even acting, we're not shooting at the wall and hoping something sticks. There is facts and resources that go along with this to help you pace out exactly what your trajectory is. And there's more of a clear path there. So,
yeah.
Why not?
And that's what I want to underscore about what Emonie is saying is that there's lots of different ways that you could make mistakes. I was talking to a client the other day, and he was teasing. He's a kind of an old friend and a client, and he was teasing me about what I charge to sell houses, and he was giving me a hard time about it. And I said, listen, I'm not here, and I know, Emonie, you feel the same way. I'm not here to feel like I'm costing you more than I'm making you. Yeah. Because if we can't establish our value to you, then we don't need to be in business together. And you need to feel that as the client, that we're worth it. And so anyway, we kind of laughed and went on talking about the conversation. And as he was asking me some questions, and I shared just a few things with him that were like thousands of dollars of savings for him. Yeah. And he started laughing. He's like, Will, you're giving me all this for free. And I'm like, well, it's because we're in a relationship and I'm telling you this stuff, but this is the type of things that you get when you deal with experienced agents like us.
Absolutely.
Literally our team, we've sold hundreds and hundreds of properties. There are things that we know that are what most people don't know, and we don't even realize how much we know sometimes. Yeah. Not to pat ourselves on the back too much, but if you do something that often, if you do something that many times, you're just going to, by virtue of the fact of just like osmosis, you're going to get things that most people won't realize. And that's one thing we realize. Can you tell me a story about, still being relatively new? You've got several, many sales under your belt at this point, but a few deals in, even you were telling people things that they didn't know, right? Tell me a story about that if you can think about it.
Yeah. Let me take a pause to actually think about that question. Honestly, just in my experience, I don't want to sound repetitive, but I think the people counting themselves out is probably one of the top things that I've experienced, at least on the buyer side. I think the other piece to that would be, again, something I've already discussed. Like, I don't think people understand and really truly understand, or have never been taught or presented with the opportunities that home buying can have for them. And I know it sounds like very basic and like very general, but having those conversations with my clients, or just someone that I'm being a resource to, even if they aren't, my client, I think just the light bulbs that go off for people, as they did for me, is probably like the biggest thing, which is why I said like that's something that I'm passionate about, just because I feel like really, like, you don't know what you don't know. And if you just already count yourself out, like, you've already lost.
Well, one of the things that I think you're gifted in, and this is one of my giftings as well, we help people feel comfortable. And I tell people all the time, they ask me a question, they kind of get embarrassed. I'm like, listen, there's no such thing as a stupid question. You can ask me anything. Like, I've heard it all, and I can guarantee you, if I don't know the answer, if we don't know the answer, we know how to go find it, and we'll get you an answer. So I think that just helping people feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable and ask those questions that they might feel like are foolish questions, because like you said, if you don't know, you don't know what you don't know sometimes. So just being able to ask the questions and feel comfortable, like, we want to be your friend too, like not just your, it's relational based.
Yeah. That's like, I think like the heart of our team, is relationships. And I tell people when I meet with them all the time, like, I don't desire to be transactional at all. I desire to like be relational with you. And obviously some of those relationships are closer than others, but I think that's an important piece of it, because I feel like a lot of people, especially from the buyer side, already feel like, you just want to take my money. Like, you just want me to buy this house. And it's like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, we want a client for life. We don't want you to.
And if I'm not the right fit, I'm also okay with that too.
Right. Or if the house isn't the right fit.
That too.
The great thing I've always said about real estate sales is it's not like we're selling vacuum cleaners and we got to convince them that they need something that they don't think they need or they don't really want.
Yeah.
Like, these are people, if they're with us looking at houses, they want to buy a home, and almost everybody wants to buy a home. So then it's not just like trying to convince them to buy this house. It's finding the right house for their needs and their family situation, and all those things. Yeah. So it's not for everybody, but I would say kind of it almost is for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are some tips that you would give buyers right now to prepare how to get started down the path? Because like you said, some people count themselves out. You encourage them not to count themselves out, but what do you do not to count yourself out?
Yeah, first and foremost, if you're even thinking about the home buying process, one, I would either connect with an agent, somebody that you can trust, that maybe you've built rapport with, that is going to help, kind of guide you, and then help you connect with a lender, or you could just connect with the lender first. I personally think the pre-approval is like the most important piece to any of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people get discouraged, because generally people start the home buying process prior to them doing the work and knowing and having a clear path of like, okay, well, this is my budget, and like, this is where I need to go. And like, leading on that path, or like, hey, I need to fix this on my credit, or maybe, whatever. The key to success is like preparation. And so you have to get pre-approved to buy anything,
right?
And plus, like, everybody wants $1 million house, but that doesn't mean that, one, you may afford it, or maybe you can, and or maybe you don't want to pay $1 million house note,
right? Yeah.
But just having more of a clear path of what are the ramifications of everything that I am wanting. What is my price point? What do houses look like in that price point? What do I want to pay monthly? I don't want to pay more than X amount of dollars every month. Okay. Well, Mr. or Mrs. Lender, what house price point do I need to look at?
Right.
Another huge thing is there is so many loan programs out there.
Yeah, there are.
That help buyers every single day.
Most people don't realize that in our area, it's actually pretty easy to get a house with no money out of pocket.
Yeah.
Like getting the seller to pay the closing costs and wrapping it into the loan and having a rural development loan or something with a pretty low down payment, even if it is a down payment. And Emonie knows about these things. Our lenders know about these things. I know about these things. You don't know unless you ask. So come talk to us, because you might be closer than you think. You might be ready.
Yeah.
We've talked to lots of people in the past that are like, I'm a few years away from buying home. So, well, let's take you through the process just so that you can know where you are in the process.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, they come back and they're like, I can buy a home like right now. And we're like, great, let's go shopping,
Absolutely. So I think that pre-approval is like the key that unlocks all of the things.
Yeah. Well, there's the bold law that says clarity is power, right? Remember that? And just so having clarity on where you stand. Some people don't want to know because they're like scared. And those people
don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
That's how you count yourself out.
Yeah. And it just to know where you are, because that way, even if you can't and you're a disaster right now, that lender and us, we can help you get to the place where you are ready. Like maybe it's not today, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year, maybe it's 5 years, but whatever your path is, we're here to help no matter when it is.
Yeah.
I've been selling houses for almost 17, 18 years. And Monty, you haven't been selling it that long. You haven't been alive that long practically. No, I'm just kidding. So, but we're still going to be selling houses in 10 years from now, 20 years from now. So we want to help you. We want to help you with this house and the next 3.
Yeah. And that is the name of the game, like for our job. Our job is to help you bring value, to help educate, to help present things that you may not know.
Yeah.
You don't need to recreate the wheel. Just find someone that you like and that you trust, that you feel like is knowledgeable, that can, for lack of a better saying, like lead the horse to the water.
Yeah. Well, we know what value is. So we've looked at so many houses at this point in our career. You might have looked at 3 or 4 houses yourself, but we've looked at hundreds, literally. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of clients find the right house. And so we kind of know what to look out for.
Yeah.
Like, like this might be close to some things that you really like to be close to, or maybe you're looking at an area that's a little bit further out. And we know from your situation, you kind of want to be closer. So, hey, in a few years, you're going to wish you had done something like this. Might be a few more dollars out of your pocket, but what that means in a monthly note is really going to be like insignificant compared to the convenience it's going to buy you. So we're going to help you make those decisions,
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, the other thing I want to hammer on, everybody talks about the rate. Everybody's freaked out about the rate. The rate is actually, historically, it's not that bad. It's just bad compared to a few years ago. And I wouldn't even say bad. I would just say higher, right? It's all relative.
Yes.
So focusing on the rate is probably a mistake. I would say focus on your payment, because when you have a payment that's comfortable, just like Emonie was saying, then we know, okay, like if this is the payment that translates to this amount of house, and maybe you can qualify for more, but you just want to focus on that range of house. So that's fine. We go look at that range of house, and then you might make a decision like, I want something a little bit nicer. I know I can qualify for more. It'd be worth that extra $150, $200 a month in my monthly note. I can maybe make some sacrifices elsewhere I want to push up. But we can help you guide that, because we're not going to push you into something that makes you uncomfortable. Again, we want a client for life. We don't want you, 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years after the closing saying, they did us wrong. That's not how we've built our business. And we have so many repeat clients who thank us later for helping them through those tough times. Your home is often your largest investment. Trust the professionals at Fleur de Lis Law and Title for reliable, secure closings. With 10 offices across South Louisiana, Fleur de Lis is your trusted partner to ensure the title to your home and the money you invest are secure. The experienced attorneys and staff at Fleur de Lis can also take care of your real estate planning and succession needs as well. Fleur de Lis Law and Title, Louisiana's leader in reliable, secure closings. And let me tell you, we do the vast majority of our closings with Fleur de Lis. We have had great service. The attorneys here are just fantastic. So we love doing business with them. We highly recommend them.
There's power in that. Something you said, you were saying, you need to focus on what your monthly is. Mm-hmm. And I say there's power in that because, people said, you hear realtors and people in this business all the time say, marry the house, but date the rate. And there's power in that because, if interest rates is what is, moving you. If you are going in at something, starting at, okay, well, this is what my monthly budget is. Well, the blessing in that is if you do want to refinance,
Yeah, if the
guess
rate goes down,
your monthly is going to be less than what your budget was initially, usually. Obviously, insurance and stuff like that plays part in that. But I feel like there's power in that. You know where your starting point is. And, if one, you're locked in, let's say the rate, they're going to fluctuate. They're going to go up. They're going to go down. If they go down, amen.
You're locked in, so it doesn't have to go up, but it can go down. And the other thing is that house price, a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, because of inflation and just generally speaking, houses go up at around 4% per year. Historically, that's what they've always gone up at. And so it's going to be worth more next year, and you can refinance. And guess what? As the dollar weakens because of inflation, you're still going to be paying the dollar that you borrowed 3 years ago or whatever with an inflated dollar, which is worth less. So that actually helps you too. Most people don't realize you're locking yourself in. You're sticking a stake in the sand and saying, this is where I'm buying value. 10 years from now, you're going to look back and be like, oh, thank God I did that. We talk around a lot of times with clients, like, I'm an investor, you're an investor. We have a lot of investor clients, but even just general real estate clients that say, man, if I'd have known it was going to be this good 10 years ago, I'd have bought everything I could, And I say that all the time. I pass things all the time. I remember when I could have gotten that house for this much.
Yeah.
And then I realize, and I tell this to clients, I say, I think in 10 years, we're probably going to be saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, man, remember it sounds like a lot today, but in 10 years from now, it's not going to sound like a lot. So if I'm thinking I should have bought everything 10 years ago, maybe I'm thinking I should buy everything today. So don't buy everything, leave that to me. I want to buy some stuff. I'm still buying right now too. So
yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about your acting career, because, so I don't want to spend a really long time on this, as I'm sure we could talk about it all day, but tell us about some of the films you've been in and some of your most memorable experiences.
Yeah. The last film that I did was Sinners. That is the Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan film, the vampire movie. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it. It's really, really good.
I haven't seen it.
It's a movie of the cultures. I keep trying to convince Will that he needs to watch it.
I'm scared. I don't like scary movies.
It's not scary. It is a little gory, obviously, because it's vampires. But yeah, I did A Man Called Otto. That's a really popular movie as well. That is a Tom Hanks movie. Yeah, I've done a little bit of this or that. NCIS New Orleans for my local folks. Season 5, episode 7. Sheepdogs. I love acting. It's so much fun. Being on set is really like my happy place. It just feels like that's where I belong. I mean, I am a little dramatic and all of the things, but no, I just love it. One of the really acting is like just like the human condition, honestly. The cool thing about it is, you can play different parts of yourself. I've changed my career in my mind multiple times. I wanted to be a nurse. I want to be a doctor. I want to be this. I want to be that. I could play all those things. So that's fun. But no, just stepping into just the stories of other people's lives or parts of people's lives is really special, and being able to make people feel something, I think is a gift.
Yeah, I would say it's a gift that you have, and you do really well with it.
Thank you.
How does that translate to real estate? Do you see some
honestly, I'm a realist. Listen, y'all. Okay.
A realist and a realtor.
Yeah. No, I think honestly, acting and real estate are very similar. The bulk, you said something earlier, but the bulk of my job, everybody wants to know like, oh, what have you been in? And, when people think of actors, they think of all the A-listers and all the people that, are well known. And honestly, most of acting is auditioning. Like that is mostly what my job is. I think it's funny sometimes when, I'm meeting new people or we're like colliding of the lives, like when we went to mega camp and I roomed with Courtney and, I had all my acting stuff in case I got an audition, but literally like that literally is my job. Auditioning is my job. And so I say that prepared me for real estate in the sense of like, there is a lot of waiting. And being patient. And it's the same with people, right?
Yeah.
There's highs and there's lows.
Yeah.
It's the same with real estate. Surprise, it's a commission-based job.
Yeah.
So, I'm not getting paid if I'm not booking jobs or if I'm not selling houses. And so there's just a lot of ebbs and flows that go into that. And I've learned in acting, like, to just do what I can do and the best of what I can do, and then just let it go. Now, obviously there's ones that like you really want and you get hung up on and you get excited. But just the reminder to let it go. Same thing with real estate. There's highs and there's lows. And being able to have the stamina that I've learned to have with acting has helped. Now, that doesn't mean it's been easy. I've had rough times. And real estate is a mind, an emotional.
Yeah, it's a mind game.
Well.
Yeah, you have to make sure you balance your emotions.
Yeah.
And don't get too attached to the deal more than the client's attached to the deal. Sometimes you're trying to help somebody and they're like, I'm on out, and we're saying, all right, well, let's get out.
Yeah.
So,
and sometimes it's, kind of playing a role in a sense. Different people need different things. You know, we are counselors.
Yeah,
we are attorneys. We are friends. We are family. We are educators. We are like all these lists of things. But I think honestly, mindset wise, I think they're very similar.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been a lot harder if I didn't have acting first. The plus or the positive to that is I think just my personality. I'm not like full of myself, but
you're confident. That's what I would say. You're confident. You own your gifts. You know what you're good at. Yeah. No.
But no, like I genuinely like people. I am a people person. I tell people this all the time. Like, I am not an office girly. Do not be telling me to sit in an office all day. Cause I don't want to do it. Okay. I don't enjoy that, but no, I like people.
Yeah.
And so,
and real estate
has to do with people, and real estate has a lot to do with people.
It's a contact sport. That's what we say.
And
you go make contacts.
It helps my acting. Like I said, acting is like the human condition. I'm around people all the time. A lot of learning is just watching people, because you're not playing. You are just stepping into someone else's reality, how people move, how they speak, how they walk, all kinds of things.
And there's a wisdom that you can bring to the table when you're stepping into their reality, when you're helping them, especially coming from a role of experience where you've helped many other people. You kind of see some of the commonalities and some of the common pitfalls, and that's what we can do. We can help them or help you avoid some of those pitfalls.
Yeah.
That's what we love to do. That's why we do what we do. And I'm really glad that Emonie is a part of our team, and we're doing it together.
I'm glad that I'm part of your team too. So
what final advice words would you leave with buyers that are considering jumping in right now? While you're thinking about that, I'm going to tell them my favorite thing.
Okay, you tell them. I'll think.
She mentioned it earlier. There's no better time to buy a house than now. The best time, an old Chinese proverb says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is today. And so that's how I feel about investing and home buying. Just do it. Like you're not gonna make a perfect house purchase. We can help you make a more perfect one than if you did it on your own. But there's always going to be something you could have done better. That's okay. You can buy another house later. And so we can help you. Don't have analysis paralysis. Just do it. That would be what I say. What would you say?
Nike.
Just do it.
I think mine, this is immediately what popped up in I discussed earlier, is like, do not count yourself out. I just want to shake people because I think I'm so passionate about that because of my the acting side of me too. it's a really hard career path, acting. It's just very complex. And there's just so many facets of it. But if I counted myself out and I just didn't keep trying, like I would have never been on Sinners with Michael B. Jordan. I would have never been in A Man Called Otto. I've been really blessed in that. But anyways, to bring that back to real estate, like you don't know what you don't know, and you cannot know it by just counting yourself out and never seeking. The Bible says, seek and you shall find. I mean, if you don't seek, you can't find anything. You're just gonna be wandering in the desert. Okay. So I honestly, I think that is my biggest thing. Like, you just don't count yourself out. Like, you just don't know what you don't know.
Don't count yourself out.
We can figure it out.
That's what we're here for. No stupid questions, right?
No.
So
no stupid questions.
Be nice. Yeah.
No stupid questions. But yeah, no. I think that's like my honestly, like my biggest thing.
Yeah. Well, Emonie, I'm really blessed to be in business with you. I've really grown to love you and your family. I'm excited for what we have in store for us and all of our clients together as we move forward and help people navigate what can sometimes be some pretty intimidating times. So it's been fun. It's been wild. And thank you so much again for joining us on another episode of the Will Frederick Podcast, where we talk about real estate, wealth building, money, and life.